Buenos dias, amigos. I am in the village of Tzintzuntzan. I took a colectivo here, which was about a 25-minute drive, and I'm going to see the ruins of the ancient city of Tzintzuntzan. The combi dropped me off here, and I was talking to these people on the combi, local villagers. They told me to get off here. And then I just asked somebody also right here, and they said, yeah, just keep walking, keep walking. And I said, okay, well, how far is it? And they said it's like 2 kilometers. So that's like, I don't know, 1.25 miles. So I'm sure there was a better way to get here, like taking a taxi directly to the site. But you know, I like to make things as difficult as possible. And I'll get to walk through this village where people are kind of looking at me, but hey, horsey. I guess while I'm walking, I'll explain a little bit of what I know, of what I'm about to see. So, Tzintzuntzan was the capital. Pátzcuaro was the capital of the Purépecha civilization or the Tarascan civilization for only like a decade or two, but Tzintzuntzan was the major capital for a long time. And when the Spanish got here, this was their capital. So from what I understand, the Purépecha, who were a civilization that was, you know, quite advanced, and so much in fact that the Aztecs were not able to conquer them because the Purépecha were very skilled with metal, which means they had like better weapons and stuff. But when the Spanish arrived, the Purépecha heard what the Spanish did to Tenochtitlan and to the Aztecs, and were basically like, we give up already, and surrendered to the Spanish. So, buenos dias. Anyway, I explained a little bit of this in my Pátzcuaro video, but these are the only thing that's left of their civilization are these buildings that are called Yacatas, which are kind of like pyramids, but they are rounded instead of square. And of course, like everywhere else in Mexico, they destroyed it, and the Spanish destroyed it, and they used the stones to build the churches and temples. So it looks like I'm getting near here. I see people and stuff. It wasn't a bad walk at all. I don't think that was over a mile, but yeah, I saw a couple taxis pass me too. So if you want to come here, probably just take a taxi. While Tzintzuntzan was the capital of the Purépecha Empire with a population around 30,000 people, the city's ceremonial center is all that remains. Built on an enormous artificial platform carved into the hill and overlooking Lake Pátzcuaro below, the ceremonial center housed only priests, nobility, and their servants. The biggest attraction on the giant platform are the 5 Yacatas, unique keyhole-shaped structures that differ from other Mesoamerican styles of architecture. On each of the Yacatas stood a temple made of wood in which the most important religious ceremonies took place, including burials. Approximately 60 tombs have been found here, probably those of kings and high priests. 2 of the 5 Yacatas have been partially reconstructed, while 3 remain in their original state. Their construction is also unique. In fact, these tightly fitted stone slabs without the use of stucco are more similar to the Inca civilization of Peru rather than other Mesoamerican cultures. Their language, still spoken by approximately 200,000 people, is also more similar to the Incas, as well as the language of the native tribes of the southwestern United States, leading archaeologists to theorize that the ancestors of the Purépecha migrated here from somewhere else. It's so peaceful here and so quiet, and there's this beautiful
red and black bird that I've been following around trying to get a shot of, and it just keeps flying away. You'll just have to take my word for it. It's a really pretty bird.
The Purépecha Empire was the second largest empire when the Spanish arrived to the Americas. Their rivals, and also their biggest trade partners, the Aztecs or Mexica tribe, fought many a battle, but no side ever won significant gains. As I said earlier, most attribute this to their use of metal in their weapons, unheard of in other Mesoamerican societies, while the Aztecs used obsidian, an extremely sharp volcanic glass. The Purépecha Empire spanned some 75,000 square kilometers, engulfing the modern-day states of Michoacán and parts of Guanajuato, Guerrero, and Jalisco. The empire lasted a little over 200 years, beginning around 1300 AD, but the Purépecha people were here far earlier, probably around 1000 AD. The city itself was organized into about 40 wards, each containing 25 households. The majority of the population, the commoners, lived in small houses and were proficient farmers, fishermen, and artisans. While the Aztecs and Mayans get all the fame, scholarly interest in the Purépecha Empire by comparison is fairly recent. The first excavations here took place in the 1930s.
There are a ton of gigantic wasps, though, here. You can walk down into this, like, field, and supposedly there's some petroglyphs, it's the sign said, which I guess are like inscriptions in the according to the very faded sign that I just kind of read, because I couldn't read every word. These are petroglyphs here in these rocks, and this is one of the very, very few archaeological places in Mesoamerica where you find petroglyphs. And they were put here strategically so that people would see them. Not sure what they mean, but there are images of people, shells, and geometric shapes in these rocks. Super interesting having my gordita that I bought from yesterday. Nice little snack. Here. What do you think? Anyway, I'm going to head into the center of this little town that is still called Tzintzuntzan. And there's supposedly a convent that is pretty impressive to look at, which houses a museum about Purépecha culture that I'd like to see. And then after that, get some lunch here, and then go back to Pátzcuaro. I'm going to walk to the center of town. Google Maps is telling me it's a 17-minute walk, and it should be all downhill. So let's go. Hola, buenas tardes. ¿Es este el convento o el templo? ¿El convento? Ok, gracias. Hola, buenas tardes. ¿Este es el convento? No, el templo, el otro.
El templo es el de aquí al lado, pero ahorita está cerrado por restauración.
El templo está cerrado y el convento
Está abierto.
ok, pues es 30 para entrar.
Sí.
Ok.
¿Me vas a ir a llevar?
The Ex-Convento de Santa Ana, built in 1570 using the stones of the Purépecha Ceremonial Center, was the first home to Franciscan missionaries in the state of Michoacán, dedicated to the teaching of the tenets of Christianity to the Purépecha. The monastery has not only been almost completely restored, but it also serves as a school of restoration. Its students from the local population of the region. The monastery's most noted resident was Friar Jacob the Dacian, the Prince of Denmark, who renounced his royal heritage to become a friar. With an ability to speak 8 languages, he quickly learned Purépecha and became an outspoken advocate of the indigenous population. In fact, after proclaiming that the indigenous had a right to be ordained as priests, a declaration considered blasphemy by the Catholic Church, he was forced to retract his statements, but he continued to fight for the rights of the Purépecha. These restored geometric patterns made of wood on the ceiling are called mudéjar, an obvious reflection of the Arab contribution to the Spanish. The attached church used by the monks, El Templo de San Francisco, was closed for restoration, but I managed to steal a peek.
This place gives me the creeps, big time.
The cloister also houses a museum showcasing Purépecha culture as well as archaeological artifacts. When I walked outside, I was surprised to find a band shooting a music video. I also witnessed a limpia, a spiritual cleansing reflecting the mix of Catholicism and indigenous practices. Next to the monastery, you'll find the church used by the converted Purépecha, El Templo de La Soledad. Dedicated to the Virgen de Soledad, an image of the mournful Virgin Mary before Christ's crucifixion, the church houses the statues of Christ used each year on Good Friday in the procession around town. The most revered, El Señor del Santo Entierro, is paraded around the village and then at nightfall hung on the cross. Believers say the skin of the statue miraculously changes color and looks sadder as the day approaches. And then there are these dolls of children who, legend says, were found in a cave in the hills of Tzintzuntzan and brought to this church. Soon people began hearing sounds of children's laughter and playing, leading them to believe that they are the spirits connected to these statues. Today, couples having trouble with fertility offer toys to the child statues, which are collected once a year and given to the children of Tzintzuntzan.
What's up, Mama? Do you just have puppies? Take. This may be the most surreal place I've ever been. It's a very strange atmosphere. You know, between the ruins, that there was, this great empire here that was on the same level as the Aztecs, but nobody really knows about it or talks about it. This dark, seemingly haunted, creepy convent. And then you have this band that's like shooting a music video outside. It's very weird.
This entire complex is fronted by a giant yard full of 500-year-old olive trees brought here from Spain, supposedly by Don Vasco de Quiroga, Michoacán's first bishop.
Going to attempt to find a place to eat here. Hopefully I find something. If not, I guess I'll just go back to Pátzcuaro if I can find the colectivo that takes you there. Well, here I am at the bus station because I got into the wrong combi. I asked the guy, is this going to Pátzcuaro? He said yes. But it's the Pátzcuaro bus station, which is 20 minutes from the center of town where I wanted to go. Winning. Okay, so I just took a cab from the bus station here. And now I'm back in the center of Pátzcuaro, gonna get something to eat. And I just want to say that the cab driver, the taxi driver, super friendly, super nice. We had a really nice conversation. He told me to go to a restaurant called El Patio, which I need to find. Excuse me. Excuse me. ¿Sabe dónde está el patio restaurante? ¿Sabe dónde está? No? Okay, gracias. I just want to say, live, laugh. I love the soup. Not the best mole. Well, that's gonna do it for this video. Tzintzuntzan was interesting. I really enjoy seeing ruins, and I like to imagine what it must have been like before the Spanish came and destroyed it. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, please hit that subscribe button. And that's going to do it also for the state of Michoacán. I've been to Morelia, here in Pátzcuaro, and See Tzintzuntzan. And I really enjoyed Morelia. Beautiful place, except for getting COVID. Pátzcuaro is very cute. It is a lovely little town to walk around, and it has an interesting history. And like I said, See Tzintzuntzan for those who like the ruins. And that's gonna do it. I'm off. Adios, amigos. Until next time, my friends. Adios.